Hi there, my name is Spencer Walther. That's me right over there. And that person with me is my older brother, Brad. We act just like normal brothers would. We get along sometimes, and other times, well, not so much. Sometimes our parents dress us in matching outfits, and other times, we just had fun together. However, there is one thing that separates us from everyone else. You see, Brad was born with Down syndrome. But let me tell you, that has not stopped him from living his life to the fullest. As he's grown over the years, he has done some incredible things and touched the lives of so many people. I've been with Brad all of my life, and I can tell you, it's really heartwarming to see him interacting with people. Because the first thing people notice about him is not his disability, but rather Brad smiling right at them. And every time, they're smiling right back. That's usually how it goes. Once he starts smiling, you can't help but smile with him.
Brad. Hey, give me a kiss.
Don't you?
Yeah. You mama's baby,
Boy.
aren't you? Say, I am mama's, aren't you? That's me. Give mama a kiss.
In the beginning, Brad had such a delay. It was difficult what to expect. And again, as new parents, we were unclear of everything. We did have a good support team of people, friends around us, but it was a struggle at times. There were medical issues growing up, especially as an infant. He was sick a lot. I was fortunate that the military that we were at gave us a lot of support medical-wise and socially. It was unclear of what his future would be, and just not knowing, being a young father, a young parent, I didn't have much information back then on Down syndrome. So the outcome, I guess, thinking about our future as a family, our future, how to raise him, was all questionable. We did treat Brad as a normal child. We tried to raise him that way. We didn't know any other way, really. Brad was our first child, so that was a challenge itself. But there was always the delay, the growth delay, mental delay. Nothing different from any other child growing up, but with him there was always some difficulties that it may be minor to others, but it would be major for us. And it takes a lot of patience, both with yourself, with each other, with him.
You have to do what you have to do. And if Brad needed something, me and Dad were there, and we were going to do it. And that's how we looked at it. We were going to make it work. Brad doesn't know a stranger. Brad will go up and speak to anyone. And if someone's having a bad day, he's going to go up, he's going to hug them, whether they want him to or not. I mean, that's just how Brad is. I mean, he's going to, and of course they're going to smile. And to me, I think it makes the person feel better because he has gone up, taken the effort to speak to them.
He's very joyful, always smiles. Like I said, he's always forward with people. So, and I think that positive in him brings out others to be positive and to be nice around him, so to speak. I think it opens their eyes to individuals with disabilities and shows them that there is a lot of positive and happy in these folks that bring out the positive in others. It's been a few years now. I think now we're settled in. I think more people know Brad than know the rest of us, simply because Brad is not shy in church, and I can't explain what. I know the music moves him. That's easy. There are some things I can't explain why he chooses certain people to go say hello to, or go put his arm around, or to kneel and pray. Other people see that and it moves them very much because of the faith. We were very young parents in the beginning. We had to grow up, I think, very quick as parents. I think it brought us stronger as a couple. I know definitely it made me more independent, I think, as a father, and to strive to be a better father for him and his younger brother. And my family growing up as a male, because that's all we had, between all the men in the family, there wasn't a lot of expression, emotions, telling each other you loved one another, anything like that. And I think that's brought that out of me and made me a better person, or at least want to be a better person and all, because I see the little struggles that he can go through, and even the little achievements that he makes is such a big goal to him and to us.
Before Brad was born, and there's still some points now in my life, I'm quiet and shy and don't talk a lot. But when it comes to Brad or Spencer, I'm going to fight for their needs. If Brad could talk and tell you, Brad never has a difficult day. Brad's days are always good days in his mind.
He may have a bad moment, but he never has a bad day.
It's gone right after it happens.
She had called me like 5 times, and so I panicked, and I called her back, and I was like, is there anything wrong? She goes, no. And she's like, I was just calling to tell you that I listened to about 20 minutes worth of your guys' conversation. And of course my mind immediately goes to, oh, well, she probably heard something bad, and now I'm going to get a talking to.
Actually, I met Brad, I guess, it would be like a birthday party or something I went to at my friend Spencer's house. My first reaction was that I didn't know like what to do, because I guess I'd never been in that situation before, never had that experience. I guess you realize how much you don't know about someone and how much you don't know like about that stuff, and it's so scary because it's so different. But once it kind of becomes normal to you, it's fine. And you realize he's literally just like the rest of us. He laughs and he jokes around, all that stuff. He's awesome. Well, something he does, like if we're all sitting on the couch all side by side and one of us like crosses our arms or like puts our hand on our head like this or something, he'll do the exact same thing, and it's really cool because it's like he wants to be like you, but then it's like you see him and like he's always so happy and he's always smiling and it's weird because even though he wants to be like you would give anything to be like him, because he sees joy in like everything, like normal stuff. Like I would be just sitting there like doing whatever, like, oh, this sucks, this is terrible, and he's smiling for no reason, whatever that reason may be. I feel like he's opened my eyes to people that do have Down syndrome, because I guess most people are probably scared because they don't know, and they might look a little different than everybody else. But I mean, there's nothing at all to be afraid of. There's nothing to be scared of at all. I mean, they're literally exactly like we are. There's nothing holding them back or anything. It's just, I don't know. I guess if anything, he's helped me. He's really opened my eyes to people that have that condition, just showing me that they're definitely, just one of us.
Silly. Come on.
seeing Brad's family come to Lee Park was really good. And Brad feels safe, I think, just about anywhere. He got right involved. He attached himself to our associate pastor, who at the end of the service comes down front as people come, to talk to a pastor or to pray. And he attached himself with Pastor Landon, and as Landon would move, Brad would move. And as Landon would go pray with people at the front, Brad would go be with them at the front. One of the things that's been so special for our church is how they have embraced him. And it's easy to love Brad. I mean, I don't know that you'd have to try really hard not to love Brad, because there is this empathy that is in him. And with someone with Downs, you're not able to unlock all of the time what's going on or why they're reacting the way they're reacting or exactly what they're thinking. They're not going to be as verbal, some of them are not as high functioning, but there is still an empathy in them that makes it easy to attach to them. And there is this desire they have to attach to others. And I think in the same way, that's what we have with Brad. He likes to be around people, and it makes sense. He found a guy who was helping, Pastor Landon, and he wanted to help. And it ministers to a lot of the people in our church. I hear from people who will say that it's impactful that we have the sort of setup where it encourages people to be involved at whatever level they're able to be involved in. And the fact that Brad is free to do that then allows our people to see the ministry that is involved in that. And Brad's doing ministry, whether he fully comprehends that or not. God knows. God knows how Brad can be used, and God is using Brad in our church. And God knows far more than we do. And God knows how Brad is making an impact. It's beautiful. When people go to the altar and pray, and they'll look and see Brad praying with them, I think it does mean something to them, because sometimes when people go down front, there is this feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm being watched. And it's a hard thing to do. It's hard to go down front, and you're exposed. And when someone comes and prays with them, people will tell us how that's comforting to them. Brad would just see people down there praying, and he would go. Sometimes even if Pastor Landon wouldn't go, Brad would go. And here's Brad. He's not concerned about the things that so many of us are concerned about. He's not concerned about social status. What will people think if I go to the altar? He sees someone at the altar, recognizes that they're there for a reason, and he goes to be a part of it. And it's an example to us as to what we should do, because of his willingness to go be with people who are at the altar making big decisions, not asking questions, not trying to get into their business, just being with them. Him doing that has now impacted our church, and now our deacons intentionally go be with people. And he's had something to do with that. There's no question about it.
Who Brad is and how he acts around people just shows you that he is no different from anyone else. And in fact, Brad can do some incredible things that even we cannot do. Not only can he make people smile so easily, but he can inspire these people as well. That's just Brad for you though. He'll always be there to make some kind of difference, whether it's to inspire someone to step out of their comfort zones or just simply make them smile. That's what he wants to do though, make people smile and inspire them to pass that smile on to others. You could say he wants to keep growing smiles